so bad they say. Daddy, did you read about the sun went down today? And through it all, I held the ball, I ran the halls, do what I say when duty calls. I'm insane, I run the game, manipulate the brain. Sweet taste of sugar cane. Sweet taste of sugar cane.
Wow. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Jim Rose, and we have huge goals. And those goals are to supply independent artists all over the world with the help of you folks here in Tucson, all over the world to help independent artists compete with those big machines. And there's ways to do it, little marketing, guerrilla marketing tricks. You know, there's a glossy magazine. It's an international business magazine. And it comes out once a month, and it's called Fast Company. And a few years ago, my face was on the cover of it with a yellow starburst that said, "Yes, Jim Rose looks freaky, so why does your business need him?" Well, I've run away from the circus and joined the world, and I'm going to try and answer that for you today. Right now I'm kind of multitasking like a whore and a gangbang, but there's the Fast Company. If you've ever watched a porno, you know what I mean there. Now, publicity is maybe the oldest profession in the world. I mean, even Moses, the greatest miracle worker of his time, had a publicist. He had a horrible year, and he couldn't give a ticket away. They could catapult a rock through the amphitheater and not hit anyone. And he got together with his publicist, and they went over a lot of ideas, and nothing was really working for him. And finally Moses said, "What if I could part the Red Sea?" And his publicist said, "Moses, if you can part the Red Sea, I can get you 2 pages in the Bible." So it's been going on for a long time. What I'd like to talk about tonight is self-mythologizing. And that's sort of a term that was coined by Salvador Dali. And you know, he was a shy kind of a Spaniard guy. He started off that way. And he couldn't get his paintings noticed, so he started fabricating stories about himself, repeating them so often that they became accepted as fact. And my friends, we all self-mythologize on some kind of a level. The circus teaches us to really go balls to the wall with it, and I'm going to suggest that you might give that some thought as well. We're going to go over a couple of different ways maybe to do that. The Wall Street Journal, for example, came up to me and wanted to do a story on me. I was in Salt Lake City, and I said, sure. And they came in, and we were playing a little club. I think it was about a 300 capacity. This was 1993. And so the journalist got there early to interview me, and he was pressed up against the stage, and I saw that he couldn't go verify anything. And so when the lights went out during a segment of the show, I leaned down real quick and I said, "The line stretched all the way to the Mormon temple. They turned thousands away." Boom, and the show continues, right? And we do the whole thing, and I say goodbye to him, blah, blah, blah. A couple of days later, I'm on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. It says the line went all the way to the Mormon temple. They turned thousands away. I don't think we turned anyone away. So that's sort of what we're going to be going over here. How many of you have never been on TV, radio, or newspapers? Really? There is someone left? Wow. Okay, well, by the time this is over, you will be. See, nowadays there's just so many of them. There's just so many outlets with the internet, etc. It used to be you only had like 3 networks that you had to deal with and a couple of daily newspapers. But nowadays you've got a lot more stuff, so a lot of people have been on it. Now, All right, so first of all, the one thing you want to know is that you need to compile a list of journalists that you're going to victimize. And by the way, these hoaxes that you can do, I mean, it's an art form in itself, and I'm retiring. You know, I need somebody to pick up the ball and run with it. Start doing some weird stuff. I mean, just always keep an eye on the way the media is going these days. You know, and just watch the trends. Like 2 years ago, I saw on CNN, monkeypox, outbreak of monkeypox. I don't know if you remember this story or not. It wasn't a story, that was the problem. And they had a picture of a guy with a sore on his knuckle. Monkeypox, monkeypox. And I could tell, and I clicked to MSNBC, monkeypox outbreak. I go over to Fox, monkeypox outbreak. And all they were doing is showing that sore, a little sore on a knuckle. And then, you know, this guy, he got monkeypox from groundhogs I forget what, way up, you know, where all the Dust Bowl was. And one of those, Kansas, that's it. And that's how he got monkeypox. But monkeypox, nobody had it in like 50 or 60 years. But the media had fallen in love with monkeypox because they liked that name. The next day, I look around, MSNBC, CNN, right? Monkeypox, monkeypox. And they keep showing just that knuckle. I'm going, man, they want a monkeypox story so bad. And they don't have one. So I photoshopped myself with a bunch of groundhogs. And I released to them that due to the outbreak of monkeypox, I won't be taking my trained groundhog act out. Next thing I know, they all want to interview me. Because they don't have a monkeypox story. They just like the name monkeypox and want to say it as often as possible. So I went ahead and agreed to all these interviews, you know, and it got kind of dicey because I didn't really have, I mean, so they, where are they? In quarantine. How do you train them? Well, like a dog, except for a biscuit, you use a root. You know, so far I'm doing okay. They never did pin me down too much. But anyway, keep an eye on me, what they're interested in. For example, CNN, they always have these poll-driven stories. Okay, 64% now say blah, blah, blah. Or 53%. CNN polls, do the research yourself. They are the most inaccurate of the top 10. Why? Because they're coming up, it's just like nowadays, if the monkeypox story happened today, they would have done a monkeypox poll so that they would have something to go with this fabricated story that they think you want to see. There is no fucking news anymore. It's just what they think you want to see. So that's why it's pretty much a waste of time to watch CNN, MSNBC, of course, I'm going to say Fox News. Hey, Glenn Beck's leaving, I heard. But I'm not going to get too political here because that's not our thing. A lot of what I'm going to be talking about tonight, is, you know, things you can do to launch. Like, if anybody here, I mean, any of you can go get press right now. Just get a big pile of hay and put your logo, whatever it is you're going to promote, put your logo in the shot. Call up all the newspapers. Call up the different television networks and say you're going to find out how long it takes to find a needle in a haystack. And just sit there and go through it one at a time. They're not going to do the whole thing, but they're going to interview you. They're going to get their footage. They'll check back with you. Just tell them how long it took. Have a needle in your pocket. When you're tired, pull it out. We can go get press right now. Has anybody got a monkey? The press can't resist a monkey got loose story. Let's go to a park. All right. Now, by the way, not all press is good press. If you own a car dealership and you get busted for fraud, that next day's headlines aren't going to help you sell cars. I had a guy one time in Edinburgh, Scotland, And he lived there. And I'd been going there every year for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. In fact, Jim Rose Circus is the top ticket in the history of that festival. So we've got a long, storied past of manipulating that local press there. But this guy decided he was going to compete with me. The year before, he had been helping me load in the equipment, you know, being a nice... And now the next thing I know, he's calling me a fraud. And anything Jim Rose does, I will do 3 times more. Whoa. So it was about 4 days before the show starts, and I said, you know, man, I'm really worried. This John Kamikaze, look, Google him, he exists. I said, this guy, man, he's going to do 3 times what I do. This is very troubling for me. And I was going to be throwing maggots on the audience. So he bought out mealworms and maggots, because they feed those to scorpions and different things that you buy in a pet store. He bought them out in a 40-mile radius, so I couldn't get any, because he was going to beat me to it. And he ended up throwing those on the audience his opening night. And you know, this is a highbrow type of an event. This is the most prestigious arts festival in the world. I mean, the fucking Taming of the Shrew was coming on next. So he throws maggots and stuff on all these people, and of course they were horrified, upset, and the theater kicked him out because they couldn't clean it up fast enough to let the next audience in. So we got rid of him. But you know, not all press is good press. Yeah, by the way, you know, I just want to go over this word luck. Yeah, you can get lucky, but you never get lucky sitting on your couch watching television. You have to go outside and make your own luck. You got to put yourself in a position to get lucky. Just remember that, okay? Luck exists, but luck evens out over a lifetime for most of us. So put yourself in a position to get lucky, and you'll find that you get more luck. I know that's slightly off topic, but I think it's kind of important. Now, the press loves a reward story. Okay? So if any of you, like if you have a tattoo shop or you're a certain type of have a just for simplicity's sake, let's just say a big stuffed dog, okay? And you've got it in your lobby, or as an artist, you've always had it on stage with you. Have photos taken with it, okay? And then just say it's missing. No questions asked, reward. This was my cursed, shrunken head missing. That's right. We got us a little USA Today action. Let's see, who else do we get here? Oh man, I scammed so many of these fuckers. All right. Oh, it goes on and on and on. Oh, give me my head back. I like that one. Yeah. So yeah, I offered a $10,000 reward. Wasn't too worried about having to cough up that money. Keep an eye out for entertainers that like publicity. Okay? Oddballs that want publicity. Right now, Charlie Sheen. You could whore him. You could whore him like crazy. But back when I was doing this, it was Michael Jackson. And about every 2 years, I would say, Michael Jackson's trying to buy my circus and move it to a Polish theme park. Oh boy, Michael Jackson, they couldn't turn that one down. Look at it, one time I even did it to Janet. But anyway, yeah, those Jacksons, they're good for it. But right now, you know, you just come up with an angle, right, on Charlie Sheen, because Charlie wants the press. You can tell by the way he's out there whoring. Carte blanche, you know, he'll give it to you. Put yourself in a journalist's place. You know? Every day they got to come up with something new. That's a job. To us, it feels kind of cool. Hey, look, I got blah, blah, blah. But to a journalist, man, it's a job. So, how do you get press? You do the job for them. You know, you give them an angle they can't resist. You basically write the story for them. You even help them with the headline. Not that it's the headline that's going to get used, because that's a different department usually. But it helps them sell their editor if they're a writer. So basically, just, you know, that's what this whole seminar is about, is sort of coming up with angles that they can't resist. You're making the journalist's job easier, and at the same time, you're getting publicity for whatever it is you're trying to promote. Depending on the market, for example, Australia's huge for talk radio. You know? Now, they have a screener, so you have to get past the screener to blurt out what you want out. But whatever it is, whatever topic they're on, come up with something that dovetails with what you're trying to push. I mean, my last name's Rose, so I mean, hell, they can have a gardening show on. And I've found a way to dovetail into their conversation. But to let you know how the media has become, I bet you all thought I was bald, right? Yeah. To let you know how the media has become, I was in Australia a few years back, and I wanted to get some publicity for a show I was doing, and I don't have a good enough Australian accent, so I had a friend, and I wrote him a script, and he called in, and he says, "Oh, I just to the #1 rated talk show, phone call-in radio show in that market. I just want to warn you about the Jim Rose Circus. I brought my 5-year-old son, and we sat about 7 rows back, and this young lady came out with a ping-pong ball and Vaseline. I'm not going to say where she put it, but when it shot out, it hit my boy in the head." That made it on air. Their phones lit up. They couldn't change the topic for the rest of the day. The new DJs would come in, and they would have to talk about it. By the time that was done, the next day in the daily newspapers, it was all on the front pages. It had become news. And that's basically what self-mythologizing is. I was in Seattle, Washington. And I was doing shows. I started there in 1991, and I was playing to about 10 people a night at a Middle Eastern restaurant called Alibaba's with belly dancers. And yeah, and I just broke, man. I said, you know, I'm thinking to myself, I got to start selling more tickets than this. So I went to the Seattle Times, and I told them I was going to be on the David Letterman show next month. And man, they ran with it. Boom. Local boy does good. Letterman. Now my shows are selling out. Now the month's creeping up, and I know I'm not on Letterman. Next thing I know, I get a call from a Canadian promoter, and he goes, "I want you to do all of Canada." So I go do all of Canada. While I'm there, Entertainment Tonight picked us up because we were selling out Canada all of a sudden. Then the next thing I know, Sally Jesse Raphael picks us up. Well, back then there was only 3 networks, so Sally Jesse Raphael meant something. Today you could do it. It doesn't mean dick. If Sally cares. I hope she's still around. But I mean, old ladies in walkers would come up to me at airport. You're going to. And then I ended up on Letterman before I got back to Seattle. So if you go ahead and put it out there. And it's just like Salvador Dali said, and actually Andy Warhol did it similarly later. You get it out there and you just keep reinforcing it. Crazy things can happen. You know, back when they only had 3 networks, you could go do the Johnny Carson show and sell out for 10 years. Just do it one time. You can go do David Letterman or Jay Leno right now, and it's good for 40 tickets the next night, and then it's done. There's just so many different outlets. So when you're putting together and strategizing your media campaign, try very hard to have more than one thing hit at the same time. Now, sometimes they get a little territorial. One daily newspaper is not going to let you do it with the other daily, but that's not going to stop the weekly if you time it correctly, and then the television if you time it correctly, and then you go down and do what was it? I did him this morning. What was that radio show I did this morning? I know he's world famous. What's his name? Yeah, the world famous Frank. There you go. So you know what I mean. So try. It's not like like I said, you could sell out for 10 years. Back when they only had 3 networks just by being on Johnny Carson once. Nowadays, you really do. You got to have a couple of pops at the same time or nothing really makes any difference. Once I booked a tour of government venues across Europe. Yes, I did. One of the first tricks I did was I set up a bunch of government venues all across Europe. And under Jim Rose Circus, it sounds, nice, right? Circus is coming to town. And then, after I had it booked, I already had a backup venue with all the marketing in place, ready to launch. Because I knew once they found out what the hell I did, they were going to kick me out. So, and they did. So, always think of controversy. Ban this sick circus. What else we got in here? This can go on. Disgust at circus. Yeah, it just went everywhere. Stop this sick show. So yeah, controversy, it really sells. Some stories are photo driven. Okay, are photo driven. That means that the actual story itself doesn't have to be that compelling as long as the photo is really good. And by the way, you'll need 300 DPI glossy. So if you're going to service the media, and they're going to want 300 DPI. These days, you don't even have to get, you can just do it on the internet. You can email it to them. Boy, I used to have to buy hundreds of photos. That sucked. So one year I decided that I would go for controversy, and but it turned into a photo-driven story. I said that I was going to do a bulletproof vest demonstration, and people were allowed to come to the show and shoot at me live. Now, I knew they were going to ban that, right? So I was not fearing this. And so I did a press release to all of England while I was in Holland, and I did the release on a Friday knowing that they had a hole in their Sunday newspaper, and by the time they figured out it was a scam, they had no choice but to run with the story. So I put the release out on Friday that I'm going to be coming to England to do bulletproof vest demonstrations. Nothing, I forget all the crap I attached to it, but it was, whatever. So I get a much bigger response than I thought I was going to get. The next thing I know, all these newspapers are flying over from England to meet me in Holland so that they can witness this act. I go, I'm fucked. Because I'm not doing it. So I took the mud flaps off my bus. And I duct taped them, I've washed them off, and duct taped them so that I could put them over me. I had some headphones. I had a blindfold. Oh, and then I needed a gun. Well, Holland doesn't have guns. I go get a squirt gun. Oh, we don't let our children play with guns. which, I agree with sort of, but it's like, okay. Oh, so we found a squirt gun in what they used to call Chinatown, not sure what they call it now. And we found a orange fluorescent one, and we spray painted it black. And the media shows up. And I say, guys, I'm really sorry. I hate to tell you this, but it's been banned in Holland. I can't do it. What? We've flown out here. We thought for sure you... If it's banned in Holland, how did you expect to be able to do it in England? And I said, well, I don't know. I still think I can do it in England. I mean, Holland doesn't have the history of civilizing the world at the end of gunpoint. And, you guys have more familiarity with it, and I think we still got it. No, you'll never be able to. If it's banned in Holland, you'll never be able to do. What are we going to do? We've got a whole... I go, guys, listen. I know this is... Just play along with me. Anyway, I don't even... Circus gun stunt under fire. Okay, this went in every single newspaper. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's a hand with a gun. All right. By the way, a nice touch. There's my banner. Jim Rose right in the middle. And there I am with mud flaps on. And I've got a blindfold so that I don't have to see this atrocity. And headphones on because, well, it implies that there will be a lot of noise. And then I got a cigarette hanging out of my mouth. It's like the final cigarette. Can you guys see that? Can you see it well enough to, anyway. It was nice. Anyway, this ended up on the, in the Independent, the Guardian. It went everywhere. Oh, there's the same one. What? I can't read. Oh, this is the Daily Post. This is the black and white version. Yeah, I remember during the Bulletproof Vest, well, in the United States, they line up to shoot me, I told them. Because they all think we got guns out here. Of course, if you look at the sign out at the door here, it says, please, don't come in with your gun. So we are in Tucson. Tucson is the stereotype that they believe over there. Oh, okay, here's the same story, but here's the headline. Police warning. Do that and you'll get the bullet. Oh yeah, I ate too many glass light bulbs one time. That's the thing I just threw down. Oh, here's another one. Oh God, that happened a lot. NME, that's a big one in England. One light lunch too many. Circus man ill after light meal. Light bulb overdose forces Rose to cancel Euro dates. Circus star ill after light meal. Okay, they stole the same one. A light meal hits freak circus show. They lit on light meal. Dark side to light show. Got a little something new there. Another great way to get press is to go up against corporations. All right. I go to London one day. And everywhere I go at these kiosks selling newspapers, I see this headline, Fly-Mo Furious. I'm going, that's weird. What's a Fly-Mo? And they go, that's your scam, Rose. I go, what? Oh, well, that's what we call lawnmowers over here. It's the brand name. It's sort of like Vaseline is petroleum jelly, but you call it Vaseline. We call lawnmowers Fly-Mo because that's the brand we use. It's Fly-Mo. So I had put out a press release. I didn't realize it was going to get that kind of traction. Where I had a guy that balanced a running lawnmower on his upper lip, and we let the audience throw heads of lettuce at it, and we turned the stage into salad. And so I put out a thing saying that the whole new use for lawnmowers, and I'm looking for sponsorship. And I had my guy call up the Fly-Mo company asking for a sponsorship, knowing full well that they'd freak out and go misuse a product. Are you crazy, right? And then you name it after them. So I named my guy. I mean, in the U.S. it was Black and Decker Man. But in England, I was calling him Flymo Man just to piss them off. So that they would, I would have something in writing, you're not allowed to use that name. See, that's what I want, because that's news. So, Flymo Furious. Flymo Fury, a danger circus act. Circus act, mower spin, causes spin, all right. But let's see if I can find the one I really like. I got the front page of The Guardian, the biggest newspaper in England. Oh, Mo and behold. Tabloids I had them one time, here it is right here. And they were just doing a photo shoot of my juggler, and he was juggling knives, right? And one of the photos, he's catching the knife, and one of the photos, because his hand's like this, it looks like he's missing a finger. Some guy in the photo room's looking through it and goes, hey, we can do a missing finger story. I mean, I wasn't even going for that angle, but don't let him near your garden shed. Okay. No showdown for Jim Rose or the media circus. Okay, whatever. All right, this one here is very similar to the lawnmower one. Let's see this. Oh, super glue. There's 6 different super glue companies. Nobody owns that name. So if you can think of an angle to do a super glue, just think of something, man. If you can think of an angle, you got press. Because one of those 6 goofballs that answers the phone that has a super glue company will answer your question in the way that will get you. But basically, same as the same. I mean, some of these things I've repeated but they're different. This one I had Super Glue Man, and it was a guy that would super glue things to his skin. And I was looking for a sponsorship because super glue was invented to seal wounds quickly in Vietnam, more skin friendly than you might believe. And I thought that you should put it in your shaving kit. And knowing that I'm not going to get a sponsorship for it. Now here's a nice one. This is the one my wifey did. She'll be doing it tomorrow night, actually. We went and did something at the BBC in England. She allowed a scorpion to crawl on her face and into her mouth. She'll be doing that here tomorrow night. So after we did the television show, we said that the scorpion got away, and they had to close down the BBC, and they did. So we closed down the BBC, and that obviously got a lot of press. And Linda's a scorpion, da 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 da. I mean, it goes on and on. But we did that one too. So, something that gets away, remember when I said, let's lose a monkey at a park they can't resist? That kind of stuff is happening. If you know where a star is, alert the media. Steffi Graf, tennis player. She came to my show, and I knew what exit she's going to be leaving from, so I alerted the press and came up with a story that I went out to dinner with her. There's Steffi and I. I just mentioned how to fight with corporations. A lot of times you can partner with them. For example, almost every city I go to, if I really want to get press, I'll go to their local zoo and say, hey, let's come up with a story that your lion's having issues procreating. I'm an animal hypnotist. It's another one of those photo-driven stories. The media loves me staring at a lion through glass. That's a good photo. So sometimes you can actually work with the media. Headlines. I got some headlines that I kind of like that I helped do. This one, I always heard of this and I always wanted to make it happen. And a headless body found in topless bar. Come and have a go if you think you're lard enough. That's my women sumo wrestlers. I'll quit Britain if I can't play chainsaw rugby. Oh, yeah, that's right, when they were telling me I couldn't do that. Okay, so listen, I want to wrap up with a couple of my favorite stories. A friend of mine called, and he said, Jim, this is my last year with the circus, and I need your help. I'm down to a horse, a monkey, and an elephant. I've got a clown, and that's all I got left. But I need to do one more season so I can pay off all my bills. So I said, well, get that horse, monkey, and elephant. This was in England. I said, take it over to Calais, which is on the other side of back in the day, you used to have to go across in a boat. Now you can do the channel. But back then, so we were there, and I got them all over there, the media. I got them drinking, and Jim, what do you have us here for? Why are we here? Drink. Finally, I said, come on down here. And I showed him the animals. And they go, okay. I said, guys, we're in a boat. We're going back to England. Not since Noah. Come on, let's make up a story. So it got a little bit of play, not enough. So I thought, okay, that's not going to sell enough tickets. So then I put out that Elsie the elephant had hoovered, which is their word for sucking, the key to the safe, and I couldn't pay the employees. And I talked the equivalent of the National Guard to come out with big metal detectors to go across this elephant's stomach. Okay, that's photo driven. How can you not put that on the front page? Then I turned it into a saga. Oh, she always liked children. It's her last year. Elsie the elephant. It's her last season. That helped. And then I put out a whole list of stunts that were going to be happening in this year's circus. Most of it, of course, not happening, but I just didn't think it would much matter. But they really fell in love with one, the tap dancing dog. I didn't have a tap dancing dog. And Jim, can we see the tap dancing dog? No. Not till opening night. No one can see the tap. Jim, can we have the exclusive? We'll give you the front page for the tap dancing dog. No. Not till opening night. I'm sweating bullets, man. Sweating bullets. I tell my friend Mark Bukowski, I said, man, I'm in so much trouble. I didn't know that they were going to light on this one thing. And I don't have a tap dancing dog. He goes, let me think about it, Jim. And he thinks for a little while, and he finally comes back. He goes, oh, I've got it. When I used to go to school, there's a roundabout, and there was always some dead dog over there. Let's go. So we went over there, nothing. Next day, nothing. Third day, fresh roadkill. Put it into the trunk, took it to in front of the theater, put a leash on it. I called up the press. I got them all there, and I had fake tears, and I said, it heard a car radio and went out into the street and started to dance and was hit. This is Jim Rose saying, thanks a lot for coming and helping out with D.I.Y. marketing. Thank you.
Sure, it tasted great. They would have made the front page just released too late.